What up, it's your boy, the Truth 31. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness on your face, neck, and chest. And today's character spotlight is my boy Green Arrow. Who's Green Arrow? Green Arrow is a fictional superhero who appears in comic books published by DC Comics, created by Mort Weisinger and designed by George Pap. He first appeared in More Fun Comics, issue 73 in November 1941. His real name is Oliver Jonas Queen, Jonas Brothers. A wealthy businessman and owner of Queen Industries, who is also a well-known celebrity in Star City. He uses this position to hide the fact that he is the Arrow. Sometimes shown dressed like the character Robin Hood, Green Arrow is an archer who uses his skills to fight crime in his home cities of Star City and Seattle, as well as alongside his fellow superheroes as a member of the Justice League. Bruh. And what I fucking know, first of all, Green Arrow is a badass. And I've heard some fucking jerk-offs say, oh, Green Arrow, he's just, he's the Hawkeye of the DC. First of all, Hawkeye is fucking garbage and fucking trash, okay? Don't ever compare Green Arrow to Hawkeye ever again, you fucking nerds. Green Arrow is so much more than that. He's such an underrated character, I feel. I feel like he doesn't get the love and deserve that he deserves. But what I noticed looking on Wikipedia, my most trusty news source, abilities. This motherfucker, this is his abilities. Peak human, I don't know what the fuck is that. Peak human physical and mental conditioning. Master martial artist. I didn't know that. Master archer and marksman. Expert tactician, acrobat swordsman, and hand-to-hand combatant. Woo, bruh. I had no idea looking this up that he was this fucking badass and cool. Utilizes high-tech equipment, armor, compound bow, and various types of specialty arrows. Obviously, what his most famous is the boxing arrow. Because it depends, because I don't know if Green Arrow has that same Batman moral code where he doesn't kill. And again, he gets a lot of comparisons to Batman, but he's not. First of all, if you watch Arrow, yeah, he's fucking Batman. But if you read the comics and the animated series, the Justice League animated series, he's much more jovial. He's a lot more jokey. He's more lighthearted than Batman. He doesn't take himself too seriously. And this motherfucker, like you said, is an expert in arrows. Like this he does not miss. He's so fucking badass. He's so cool. I like the Robin Hood type aesthetic because I think it fits him. I think it's cool. Obviously, if you do a Green Arrow film, you're gonna have to like update his suit. But and of course, in the comic books, he's portrayed as this liberal social justice warrior type character, and of course, SJW. Not the best brand right now. If someone labels you that, that's probably a bad thing. But before all the craziness happened, he was the original SJW who fought for people, and always wanted to do good by the people. He wasn't this like rich, cocky billionaire. At first he was an asshole. At first he was like this. He was like a Bruce Wayne, but that was his real persona. Getting chicks, partying it up, didn't give a fuck about anyone. And then, of course, in some iterations, he crash lands into an island by himself and he trains himself to be this persona Green Arrow that we all know and love now. And of course, later on, he develops and changes into the Green Arrow that we all know, the one who's a social justice warrior, the one who fights for people, and the one who always goes for the people. He's no longer this spoiled brat CEO who only cares about himself and stuff like that. So I love that aspect of the character. And of course, along the way, he's like he partners up with I think Rory, right? Rory, Red Arrow, which is his, or Speedy, which is his Robin in a way. And of course, the relationship he grows with Diggle, but I think that's only in the comics. Not the comics. Well, it's later developed in the comics. But at first, we introduced to Diggle in the Arrow TV show. Great show, by the way. At least the first 2 seasons. The rest are garbage. And then, of course, he falls in love with Black Canary, the blonde hair, sexy, busty fishnet Black Canary. My favorite incarnation, the only incarnation of Black Canary. And they have like this special, basically that's their Bruce Wayne, Catwoman, that's their Superman, Lois Lane. It's always the two of them. And I really love that relationship as it grows forward. But yeah, I mean, Green Arrow is so cool. I love the name. I love the look. I love the aesthetic. And of course, in partnerships with other. Oh, I forgot. I think his son, depending on which iteration you read, he has a son named Connor Hawk, who he grows up to be Green Arrow, who takes over the mantle of Oliver Queen, which I think he dies. I think it's some of the iterations of the character. But yeah, but of course, I in one of the stories I read, Battle for Justice, I think it was, where he actually Green Arrow he actually kills Prometheus, like just a fucking headshot with an arrow, boom. So again, it shows that Oliver Queen is not afraid to go. I think again that's what makes him different from Batman. He's not afraid to fucking kill. Like he'll cross that line. Like Oliver Queen does not give a fuck. Like if it justifies it, if like someone like really really does a heinous act, like he'll fucking kill him, no doubt about it. And I love his portrayal in Justice League animated series. Again, it makes him like this because again he gets portrayed as this low budget or copy of Batman, but he's so much more than that. He has so much more heart to him. He has so much more. He's so charismatic. Again, if you discount Arrow in the comics, he's much more jovial. He cares about people. He's not like this moody, Batman who's just like, oh, everything sucks. He's almost like the Tony Stark of the DC universe, without the armor and shit. Very jovial, very like, always focuses on the mission, of course, but he jokes and stuff like that. And but he obviously he has a heart of gold too, and he cares about the characters, and he has a lot of great issues. He has he has a lot of great stories. If you read the Green Arrow run by Kevin Smith, that's a great story. I actually just bought that recently, so I'm going to pick that up, and I heard it's great. It's obviously Cry for Justice and Rise and Fall. That's the storyline where he killed Prometheus. I highly recommend that book. The New 52, which is a sort of retelling, a new fresh start for Oliver Queen. If you haven't read that, I highly suggest that because that's a great book. And of course, the relationship between the Judd Winnick run with Green Arrow and Black Canary that I think ran from 2004 to 2008. Great run, which really focuses on the relationship between Oliver Queen and Diana Lance. And that relationship really just expounds and grows. And it really shows why these two characters are so awesome. And it shows why Green Arrow is so awesome. Again, the character of Green Arrow, so fucking cool. He has so many great moments in comics. And yeah, the character's so cool. I love the character. He's so underrated. So underrated. Of course, also I recommend Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell, which was in 1987. Obviously, it's a really mature, dark story take on the character Green Arrow. And I think it's like a 3-issue prestige format limited series. So if you're looking for like a more adult Green Arrow story, I highly, highly recommend that. And of course, the Blackest Night storyline with the Green Arrow, stuff like that. Again, so cool. Where Oliver is transformed into a Black Lantern Corps. That's the Blackest Night storyline with Green Lantern. And of course, Green Lantern and Green Arrow have this buddy relationship. It's so funny that they're both named Green. You have Green Arrow and Green Lantern. So fucking stupid. Like, so silly. So stupid. But again, the character of Green Arrow, so cool. So underrated. I love him. He's if you haven't read Green Arrow Rebirth, highly, highly suggest that. It's a great take on Oliver Queen. It really it differentiates. I fucking butchered that name. But it really shows the differences. Put it simply, it shows the differences between him and Batman. Of course, and then there's the issue of Batman and Green Arrow actually teaming up, and it really highlights what makes the differences between Batman and Green Arrow, because they're so often compared to one another. And in this issue, it really shows the difference between them, and it shows like again, Green Arrow, love the character. I'm really waiting for a movie. Why haven't we gotten a movie, or at least a hint, or at least a cameo of Green Arrow? We got to get this man in the movie. We got to show some love, show some appreciation for the character, because he actually deserves the love and the praise. He's one of the most underrated characters. He's so badass. Doesn't get enough love, but hopefully, we get to see him in the movie, in Justice League or stuff like that. And just read his comics, support his comics, and yeah, he's just a great character. So, Green Arrow, he's fucking badass. Put some respect on his name. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Smash that like button. Subscribe for all that DCEU good stuff. And yeah, support my boy Green Arrow, Oliver Queen. He's an SJW. Not a bad SJW, a good SJW. He's one of the best. Truth out.